Hey, I'm Rob for JestaThaRogue.com. I'm going to show you how to play Evergreen. This is a game for 2 to 4 players with slightly different rules for a solo game. Plays in about 45 minutes, is designed by Hjalmar Hatch and is published by Horrible Guild. Each player controls a planet and will draft cards to build an ecosystem by planting sprouts and growing them into trees to capture sunlight, build large forests and grow big trees in the most fertile regions to score the most points and win the game. So help me grow this channel by hitting subscribe and show me you're a lovely little ray of sunshine by leaving a nice comment. On to setup. Each player gets a planet board. Put a cylinder into each coloured space on the board. One goes into the start of each power track at the top of the board. Another goes on 0 points at the top of the planet and one at the 50-point increment tracker to the right. The final cylinder goes at the top of the season track in the bottom left of the board. Each player puts a sun marker in the recess at the top of the board. Choose a random start player and give them the leaf. The start player will start with 0 points. The next player clockwise will get 1 point. The third player will get 2 points and the fourth player will get 3 points. Shuffle the biome card and reveal them one at a time into the fertility zone until at least 5 fertility icons show. Be sure to stack the cards by biome type, keeping all the fertility icons at the top of the card showing. Shuffle the cards without fertility symbols back into the deck. Onto gameplay, which is played over 4 seasons, with each having a decreasing number of rounds per season, and it's played over 3 phases: draft, power and actions, and cleanup. Phase 1 is draft. Lay out biome cards equal to 1 more than the number of players, so 4 in a 3-player game. The first player drafts a card, keeps it face up next to their board and will put the first player token on the leftmost available card. Then players in clockwise turn order will draft the card. If a player takes the first player marker, they will be the first player in the next round. If no one takes it, it will go back to the current first player. If the unchosen card has fertility icons, add it to the relevant colour biome in the fertility zone. If it has the aridity symbol, flip the last card in the relevant biome face down and add it on top. If the aridity card happens to be the first card in the biome, just start a new stack without flipping a card face down. If neither icon is on the card, simply discard it. There is a promo wildcard with fertility symbols. If this is undrafted, the player that last picked a card this round chooses which biome the card is added to. Phase 2 is where players activate actions and powers, and this can be done simultaneously by all players. Players perform one action in the biome matching the card they drafted. A wildcard matches any biome. Biomes not only match by colour but also by the symbol shown on the board and the left side of the card. The 4 actions are shown by different symbols on the bottom right of the planet board. Action A is to take the plant a sprout action 3 times. Simply place up to 3 sprouts in any empty space anywhere in the biome matching the drafted card. If you're taking an action with a wild card, you ignore the biome restriction. You can perform these actions across any number of different biomes. Action B is to take the generic growth action twice. To perform a generic growth, either replace a sprout with a small tree or a small tree with a big tree. And these actions must be in different spaces, so you can't grow a sprout into a small tree and then that same small tree into a big tree in the same round. Action C is to take the plant a sprout action and the generic growth action. Again, these must be in different spaces. Action D is to take the plant a sprout action or the generic growth action, but the planet symbol here shows these actions can ignore the biome card and can be played anywhere. Players also perform the power shown on the bottom of the drafted card, and it is resolved in its entirety either before or after taking the action. First, upgrade the relevant power by moving the cylinder 1 space right. If it's already at the end of the track, it stays where it is. You'll notice that each power has a planet symbol, meaning they are not restricted by the biome card you selected. Then apply the effect of that power at its current level across any number of biomes. Now, a power can affect the same space as your action and vice versa, which means if you plant a sprout as an action, you can grow it into a small tree as a power on the same turn. The 3 powers at the top left are similar to the actions we've covered already. Sprout, plant the number of sprouts shown in any empty space. Small tree, replace the number of sprouts shown anywhere on the planet with a small tree. Big tree, replace the number of small trees anywhere on the planet with a big tree. The 3 powers at the top right are different. The power at the top right is to place the number of lakes shown. Then perform 2 generic growths on 2 adjacent orthogonal spaces next to the lake. For example, placing this lake here will allow me to grow both adjacent sprouts into small trees. The next action is to place a bush. Put a number of bushes in any empty space. They're used to expand your forest, I'll explain more shortly. Finally, the bud power lets you gain that many points. Points are shown on the circular track around the planet, with 50-point increments tracked using the cylinder on the top right of the board. After everyone has performed their actions and powers, we move on to phase 3, end of round cleanup. Firstly, players count how many cards they have drafted this season so far. If it's less than a number shown in the current season, which is 5 in the first season spring, then play continues with a new round starting at phase 1 and drafting new cards. If players have drafted and played an equal number of cards for the season ends. Players start the end of season actions by collecting light. Trees collect light from the direction of the sun, which will shine across the board. So in this first season, the sun shines from top to bottom. Each tree hit by light collects points. Small trees make 1 point and big trees 2 points. But small trees will cast a shadow of 1 space and big trees will cast a shadow of 2 spaces and will block the light for trees the same height or smaller. For example, this small tree will not gain a point because it is in the shadow of a big tree, so only the big tree will score. This example will score 2 points. This small tree is in the shadow of the small tree in front, so this is worth 1 point. This big tree is in the shadow of the small tree, but as it's bigger, it will still gain the 2 points and the small tree will gain 1 point for a total of 3 points here. This big tree is in the shadow of the big tree, so in this example is worth 2 points. It's important to remember that each tree in a shadow still casts a shadow, so this row of small trees only catches 1 sunlight at the front for 1 point. Crevice spaces can't hold pieces but do count as a space when working out shadows. After scoring light, players score for their biggest forest. Look for the biggest area of orthogonally adjacent connected trees and bushes and score 1 point for each tree and bush in it. For example, this collection is worth 5 points. Then the season changes. Move the season track marker to the next season and move the sun clockwise to the next edge of the board. Players discard the biome cards they drafted this season. Then you go back to phase 1 of the new season and draft cards again. If the deck ever runs out, just shuffle the discard pile into a new deck. After the 4th season, the game ends. For additional endgame scoring, players score points for the number of big trees in each biome per fertility symbol on the cards in the fertility zone for that biome. For example, the swamp biome has 5 fertility symbols and the player has 3 big trees in that biome, so they will score 3 times 5, 15 points. And the player with the most points is the winner with ties broken by the current turn order. And that's how you play Evergreen. Thanks for watching. Remember to like, share and subscribe and hit the notification bell so you know when a new video goes live. You can follow me on Insta, Twitch and YouTube at Jesta ThaRogue and find the blog at JestaThaRogue.com. I've been Rob, aka Jesta ThaRogue. I'll see you soon.